What's the difference between an all-welded diaphragm seal system and a gasketed one? In a bolted configuration, the diaphragm is welded to the upper housing, and the gasket is placed in a counterbore in the lower housing. We then clamp the gasket between the diaphragm and the lower using the fasteners here, and the nuts are then placed on the bottom and torqued to spec. We then assemble the gauge and thread it into the top, into the upper housing, and it's sealed with sealant. In this configuration, the gasket, the lower, and the diaphragm are all process wetted components. In gaseous processes, there's a risk that gases could leak through the fibrous process gasket and potentially corrode the 316 upper housing in this assembly and remove some of the backing. A potential risk also exists through exposed bolts, a fill screw in the upper housing, and a threaded instrument connection located here that could all potentially be tampered with. Ultimately, gasketed assemblies contain higher fit values, and in some situations and certain seal ratings, the seal may require redundancy in your certain application. In an all-welded configuration, the diaphragm is welded to the lower housing. The upper housing is then welded to the lower. Then the gauge is welded to the upper. And in the last step after calibration is welding the fill port closed. In this example, everything is completely welded, but after final calibration, the fill port is the last thing remaining to ensure a completely hermetically sealed assembly. In an all-welded assembly, the helium leak-tight diaphragm weld to the lower housing ensures a completely hermetic seal to your process media. The leak-tight upper to lower housing weld also ensures additional safety measures through the tamper-proof design. And the gauge to upper housing weld also ensures that the gauge can never be threaded loose. The fit values of this assembly are far superior to the others because we don't contain bolts that could be tampered with, a fill screw that could be potentially loosened, or a gasket that could potentially leak over time. If you have any questions regarding the differences of an all-welded versus gasketed assembly, go to riotemp.com and under the Configurator tab, select Diaphragm Seal. There you can fill out a form to speak to a specialist directly about your application. For more 2-minute tech videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information, go to riotemp.com or call us. Thanks for watching.